Alright, are we in? Are we good? Alrighty. NANI?! Is the music too low? I was thinking of putting FGO music in the background, but I figured that would get really tiresome super fast. And this is just a prototype stream anyway. Let me get the hiccups and the stuttering and all that jazz out of the way right now. Okay. How's it going, everybody? I'm rejoicing right now that so many of you have decided to come. This is a prototype stream, as I mentioned, I think, a second ago. I get a lot of questions whenever I'm just gaming and farming and whatever else on here concerning the state of the game and certain characters and their abilities and whatnot, and I figured, considering a major landmark just happened in NA history as of about an hour ago, I figured it would be time to test this out, to see how many of you actually have questions about certain characters, about maybe the state of NA, what I think about it. Really anything as long as it has to do with FGO. Hello, Nell. How's it going? I'm trying to be polite and not put this over top of the Chaldea Guru stream that's going to happen at 7 p.m. EST, but you can't make everyone happy. And I knew I wanted to do this as soon as possible because it would be fresh in everyone's minds. In case you don't know, I do have my Twitter here. Let's go to... I did retweet all of the major information. You should be able to see it. Okay, so... first major announcement was... we are doing this shit again, except no GSSR. They decided they're gonna do a Thanksgiving banner. This is the NA server, by the way. This is all NA server. I want to make that very clear. This is all NA server stuff. They decided to do a Thanksgiving banner. There's no GSSR. I want to get that out of the way right now. There's no GSSR. Okay? Which is great. I'm glad they didn't pull that. However, they decided everything that would normally happen on New Year's for JP is going to happen here. So, expect this every Thanksgiving now. Anyway, you might be seeing Mama on the screen and you're like, Nani? Well, or maybe you're less weeb than I and you're saying, what? What the fuck? And it's like, yeah, so all these people that you see are coming back. That includes, yeah, Iskandar, Shuten, I guess Shuten. I didn't see Shuten on here. But Sloane was there, so I guess she doesn't show it in any of her pictures. It just shows Mom. I don't know. Anyway, but point is, Kintoki got the short end of the stick, and he's not showing up where normally he would have. But apparently all these people will. Again, I don't know if this is just misinformation. I was not actually at this panel. I'm going tomorrow, but I unfortunately was not present for this panel. But all the other people are confirmed based on these pictures. So, you will be able to roll for them. It'll be a rolling rate up. It'll change, I assume, every day or every couple days. Probably says right on the pictures, actually. Yep. So, like, every single day it'll change to a new character. So you'll have a second chance at all these people. Or in... yeah, Gil should be on here. In Gil's case, it's like his third chance. Something like that. Which means that Musashi is pretty much confirmed for New Year's. I mean, I have no doubt we're getting her. I never had any doubt we'd be getting her on New Year's, but some people thought otherwise. For example, Musaki. I'm just gonna make a light jab there on Musaki. He was like, oh, well, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. He posted it today. I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say Musashi is coming right now. And I'm like, nah, that's a funny joke, Musaki, but no. Considering we did actually have the Karna Arjuna banner when we were supposed to, on New Year's, it's called the New Year Pickup Summon. Even on NA, it's called that. I had no doubt we'd get Musashi on New Year's, but this confirms it. Basically. I mean, it's obviously not said, but you know she's coming on New Year's. Like, there's no other place for her to show up. But the real question is, what about Ishtar? Now, you might be saying, well, duh, she comes in Christmas. If you don't know JP, I don't blame you. She was supposed to appear as a second shot on this banner. You were supposed to get a second chance at Ishtar on this banner. So there's ups and downs to this. Musashi's basically confirmed to be on New Year's, but Ishtar, on the other hand, is up in the air. I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna be positive about this, because that's how I like to roll with this game. I'm gonna be positive, and I'm gonna say they did not forget about Ishtar or decide that fuck Rin Tosaka. They decided we're probably gonna get a rolling rate up with her and Musashi on New Year's. So it'll be a dual rate up. It'll go back and forth. That is my bold prediction. But that's me being positive. I'm not trying anything wacky. I'm just trying to give Ishtar the chance she kind of deserves. Now, I've heard some people like Manpig. If you don't know Manpig, that's fine. I don't expect you to know every FGO YouTuber. He stated, well, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a second rate up at all, because it's only a few weeks apart. Well, number one, it's Rin Tosaka. There are a lot of people who reasonably think Rin Tosaka is a big fucking deal. Second, that's not linked to, like, a Japanese event. That's New Year's, you know? Like, in the case of, there was a long time ago, we did not get a second Karna Arjuna banner, for, like, there was, like, a Japanese expo, or something like that. It was like, some anime convention in Japan. Like, I'm trying to remember basically what the name was. It was, like, Anime Japan, I think it was literally what it's called. And there was supposed to be a Karna Arjuna banner for that, and we did not get that banner on NA. And there was a lot of back and forth I had between certain people as to whether or not we would even get that banner, and lo and behold, it somehow turned out to be right. That we wouldn't get that banner because it had nothing to do with NA. Absolutely nothing to do with NA. Which also puts into jeopardy future banners that have to do with Japanese exclusive events. But, you know, that's for later. Anyway, right now, though, Ishtar, I'm gonna be positive and say, because she's not out, as she hasn't had any rate-ups, and the only people in this are people who have had previous rate-ups before, that, of course, they wouldn't put her in this, but they will save her for New Year's, because by that time she had already come out. She'll have come out for the brand new Christmas event. So did you guys get all that? That's some of my theory, but that's also literally what seems to be going on here. Also, some light stuff. The K&K and Ilya gacha CEs are returning with their respective servants. So, like Saber Shiki, you can get the K&K rate up gacha CEs again on hers specifically. And with Ilya, you can get the Ilya CEs, the Ilya rate up gacha CEs again. Now, this was also in the JP one when they did their New Year's, so that's not anything new. I thought it was for a second, but I quickly checked myself. I was like, oh shoot, yeah, they did actually do that in JP as well when they did the New Year's equivalent of this. So, as for Saint Quartz, that has not been specified yet. We will, or I keep saying we, I haven't played NA in a little while, but even so, NA server will be getting Saint Quartz, but Sloan, who was our correspondent here, she said it was unspecified as to how much. So who fucking knows? Until you actually get it, I guess. I don't know. That has not been confirmed. That is the only thing that has not been confirmed as to how much Saint Quartz we're actually getting. Let me just double check on my Twitter feed to make sure. Hopefully nothing pornographic suddenly shows up. By the way, Albert keeps looking more and more disheveled with each passing time we see him. I feel bad for him. I'm not trying to, like, condescend to him. I'm literally, like... I remember what Albert looked like. Do you remember what Albert looked like when the game first came out over here, compared to now? It's a little sad. I'm like, Albert, are you okay? Like, I mean, he seems to enjoy what he's doing, but at the same time, I wonder. Also, thank you for the $10 bleh, donation, Buster Swordsman. Sorry, you broke my train of thought there. Are we ever gonna get Muramasa? Of course we will. It's just a matter of time. Because, like, you can see, he's getting a little bit pudgier, his hair is growing out, and I'm just like, it'd be one thing if he looked like that all the time from the beginning, but the fact that it's just like, I'm not negatively judging the guy, I'm just saying he looks like the stress is getting to him. The salt is destroying him, I know. But that's the problem, they're putting everything on him. He's, like, not only, like, the PR guy, he's also the lead translator, he's, like, now also, like, the director or something like that. He's like, they're putting everything on him, and I'm like, poor Albert. Ay. I'm sure he loves what he does, but at the same time, it can also equally destroy him. I know that experience just from my own YouTube channel. But anyway, so yeah, the Sacred Quartz has not been confirmed. Yet. So I wish I could answer about that, I wish I could give my opinions about that, but yeah, it's, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I don't have an answer for the SQ yet. But if anybody does have the answer, they can confirm it, please put it in the chat. Because we're going to be here for a little while. I wanted to make this about an hour long. I didn't want to make it super long, because I'm going to eventually run out of steam. Anyway, so real quick, let's talk about those other updates. They're pretty basic. I don't think I really need to go over them that much. It's kind of the stuff you'd expect. By the way, the friend messages coming early. That's pretty cool. The other stuff is kind of whatever, but this is the big one. Now you can meme at your friends in game. Ooh. But yeah, we get 18 foe cards, and luckily they're 3-star this time. You get 1 summon ticket for like each. Basically, you get 3 summon tickets. That's the gist. You get 3 summon tickets for this. Kinda lame, but whatever. You know, you take what you can get, I guess. You get 6 of each fruit. Again, not a big deal for the bronze, because that's going to get eaten right up by any player who plays regularly. And then 18 Blazes of Wisdom, all 4-star, that's pretty cool. I do like that. So it's got its ups and downs with these numbers here, and not specifically what's given, but how much of it. So the EXP cards are nice, but the fruit is nice and also kind of, it's there. And the foes, that's a nice number. I wish it was 10, but, you know, 9 is fine. It's just one off. It's whatever. And then also, AP cost for all daily quests will go down. Thank Christ for you guys. So, yeah, Ember Gathering, Training Grounds, Treasure Vaults. So, farm all the doors and hands you can. This is your time. So, I'm assuming, yeah, it's halved. Okay. And that's about it. Also, the select sword is there. I never really focused on that too much, so maybe some people will like that more than I. But anyway, thank you for the extra $10 donation, Buster Swordsman. Also, finally got Angra. Good job. Anyway, okay, so I think that's about it for all that news, so we're all up to date together, considering it just happened as of this special prototype stream. And that took about 15 minutes, because I like to talk and make sure I'm not wrong. Remember, facts are different from opinions. I may say something like, I think Lalter is better than White Lancer Artoria, but that's an opinion, that's not factually inaccurate, necessarily. Not like when I compared Brynhilder to Skahak and I made a very fatal error in that. Based on numbers. It was entirely based on numbers. But anyway, so does anyone have any questions? Because I think that's about it. I'll wait. And I will admit, if you do donate, it makes it easier to see your question. And of course, I will be obligated to answer your question if you donate. I'm not forcing you to. I'm just, let's be real here. If it's a bright color, like a neon blue or a yellow on my screen, I'm gonna see it pretty easy, and I'll feel obligated to answer your question. Am I gay? Good question. I prefer not to answer that simply because I don't even know. Anyway. Any animation updates? No confirmed animation updates, unfortunately. When will you return to NA? Whenever a new story chapter is released, I will return to NA. Absolutely. Because I want to read it in English, with it all completely translated rather than summaries. But that's really the main times I'm going to come back to NA. I'm omnisexual. That's probably pretty accurate, actually. What's your dream rate up? For JP or NA, it depends. Because with NA, we kind of know. We do a Thanksgiving episode on Abigail. Actually, the Thanksgiving episode, if you're talking about the cartoons, is not... Or if you're talking about the cartoons, that's not about Abigail. But if you're talking about episodes in general, like just stuff I do, no. For now. There might be another Abigail thing in the near future. I've talked about it with Rennie. But it's not set for Thanksgiving. There's 2 major things in the works, and there's an Ishtar Ereshkigal combined video coming out, and then there's a new cartoon by Rennie that's going to come out on Thanksgiving, so. How am I doing today? I'm doing alright. Feels weird not working on anything today, so I kind of did this because I felt obligated to do something. Who are you rolling for on that banner? The problem is I have pretty much everyone on that banner. On NA, I have everyone on that banner that I actually want. I actually don't... Gilgamesh is amazing, but I don't necessarily want him. It's weird. But he's really good. We could talk about him later if anybody asks. Yes, we're getting Gilgamesh. Yes, he's on it. Sith Gem. Do you have a CCC event video in mind? Of course I do. Of course I do. I actually do. I totally do. In fact, I have been wanting to do Sakura 5 stuff for a while. So I might even do stuff for them outside of CCC, but we'll see. I have so many ideas. That's the problem. It's a blessing and a curse. I have a lot of ideas, but it's a matter of which ones I'll actually make into videos. Wow, there's like over 400 of you right now. That's pretty cool. Thanks, guys. This is a prototype stream, so honestly, I had no idea how this would go. Buster Swordsman, I haven't ignored you. Only play on NA, so I don't know how foreigners work. Can you explain them real quick? Oh, actually, it's really easy. Neutral damage to everything except when it comes to berserkers and themselves. They do double damage against themselves, and they are resistant to berserkers. As in the blue damage, they're resistant to berserkers. And yeah, they do double damage to themselves, so which is very few of, but yeah. So it might never come up for you, but the resistance to berserkers is gosh darn huge. So. Oh, and alter egos. Thank you, SithGem, for not letting me forget that. Alter egos do double damage to them. To foreigners. Alter egos are their weakness. So. What's my opinion on Mordred? She's a good farming saber. Unless you're talking about just lore or character-wise. Let's keep it focused on what's coming up on NA or just, like, even, like, JP into the future and stuff like that. Let's see, which one? All of them. I can answer this question quite easy. All of them. Are we even getting CCC and FGO? Albert has said to shut up about it. I'm dead serious. That's his answer. He literally is like, guys, shut the fuck up. That is actually his answer. We are the reason he is so stressed out. Do you think Solomon will be out by the end of the year? It kind of has to, based on story. I'm not even being a smartass. It actually has to, or else it's kind of like, wow, like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know when Babylonia will come out for sure. I'm not going to necessarily guess that because there's a lot of decent answers for that. And who knows, because they didn't announce shit when it comes to Babylonia, unfortunately. But Solomon has to basically be by the end of the year for story reasons. Anyway, I didn't forget about you, DJ Fresh. What servants would you use with Gramps? Because he... No, actually, that's a relevant question because he's coming soon. I'll answer that question first, because he did donate. So, let's see. With Gramps, there's a lot of answers. Number one is Memelan. But that's really, really obvious because he generates critical stars and gives Buster performance up in a really big way that King Hassan can make the most advantage of. Anyone who gives Buster support is a great idea. Anyone, and there's tons of them. There's tons of people who give Buster support. If they give Buster support, put him with King Hassan, because he's got a full Buster deck with a Buster Noble Phantasm. Anyone who can make him live longer, obviously a really good choice. Hans is a good... I'll say this. Hans is a really good welfare Merlin. That's how I always think of Hans. He's a welfare Merlin. Especially for NA players, he's a welfare Merlin. So if you don't get Merlin, I mean, Hans is almost just as good in a cheapo sense. Like, if you're cheap to play or free to play, Hans is probably a really good substitute. And hey, he's even better if you have Merlin, but, you know. Let's see. Let me look at my servant list, actually. Let's summon servants. Okay. Let's see. Nightingale's a really good choice, except Nightingale might die before he does. Let's look. You know what? Let's actually look at King Hassan, because I know a lot of people are going to be thinking about him, because he's right, gosh darn, next to Musashi, who is now basically confirmed for New Year's. So let's just look at this guy. He'll undoubtedly be in the top 10 servants to save for in 2019 video. I mean, you could probably guess that. As long as I had half a brain, he would be in it. But let's look at this guy. Okay, I can already tell you he's the second strongest assassin in the game, physically. Like, he has the second highest attack. Who has the first? It's Shuten Doji. But Shuten Doji is arts-based, so this guy makes the most of it from this gosh darn deck right here. Yeah, you see that? Any single target. And he has a very high chance to inflict death against, like, mob enemies. Servants, much harder, obviously. But against mob enemies, like, even mini-bosses, probably gonna straight up one-shot him. He's also death immune, which, I mean, whatever, but the 5% chance to inflict death. That's actually happened to me before using him. It's funny whenever it happens. His presence concealment is good, his independent action is decent. His magic resistance is also fairly high. He's got a really good setup. It does everything you'd want him to do. His guts is massive. Let me just show you guys this. This is by far the biggest guts in the game. This guy, when he comes back to life, he's basically like half full, especially at level 10. I'm not saying it's the first thing you should level for him, but just consider, this is ginormous. It's absurdly ginormous, and it lasts up to 5 turns. That's a best gut skill in the game, basically. I'm just saying that based on base guts, like things that are just guts. Like, there's other skills that give out other things besides guts, or have targetable guts, or team guts, you know. But based on just lone guts, this is the best one in the game, by far. Anyway. So, he's pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's super straightforward. Except for the fact that he likes to cast death. Which only helps him. There's basically nothing wrong with the man. Except, like... If you're gonna ask me who's better, him or Jack... It's the timeless question. Who's better, him or Jack? It depends on your needs. It really does. Having both is optimal. In fact, putting them together is even better. I'm dead serious. Jack is a really good choice with him. Because he needs critical stars. So I'll tell you that. Like, anyone who can generate critical stars for this man, or help him with his NP gain, perfect. His hit counts are also really good, by the way. Like, really fucking good. So, anyone who can really help him with the NP gain or the critical stars, just let him go to town, and he's absurd. Yeah. Kiritsugu, guaranteed SSR is basically confirmed to be part of New Year's now. Yeah, his NP gain is very good. The problem is he doesn't have something like Musashi, which is straight up like, I double my hit count. making her basically have, like, a one-turn just gain her entire NP gauge. So that's what I'm saying. Like, his NP gain is good. Don't get me wrong. But if you want him to spam it, he needs help. Otherwise, he's just gonna hit things really hard. You could just be straight up, like, just buster, buster, buster all the time and not even worry about his NP. You could do that. That's a completely decent option. So, anyway. Musashi does have advantages over him. But I do, honestly, over time, I've decided, I'm like, I think he's the more universally sound between the two. But again, it kind of depends on what you need. They're both really good all-buster deck servants. So. That's because Okita Alter is actually heroic versus Jalter, who is not heroic. There are no quick-based foreigners yet, unfortunately. Probably will be, though. But yeah, the Guaranteed SSR, I'm just going back to this real quick. The Guaranteed SSR, for those of you just coming in, the Guaranteed SSR has basically been confirmed to be part of New Year's now. They are doing a Thanksgiving banner, but it's a normal rate-up banner. It's a rolling rate-up between several characters who will only have one chance per day. Like, you not as in, like, you can only roll once, but you only have one day to roll for them. But... yeah, no GSSR for Thanksgiving. It has now probably been moved to New Year's, which is great. Probably because they got a massive backlash. And yes, this has been confirmed. Albert has said this at a panel. I think it was the one where he announced Narrowfest. He was like, yeah, we got a massive backlash from all the people who said, what the fuck? Nani the fuck? Why did you put the GSSR before certain characters had a chance to be released? Who were SSRs? So I think they realized, yeah, probably just put a Thanksgiving banner up that people can just regularly roll on. Good idea. Is Caster Gill worth getting? Yes. Granted, he's not limited. In fact, he's not even... I'm pretty sure he's not even story-locked. This is JP. Okay. Let's move on to this. Let's move on to Babylonia, since I know a lot of you guys are concerned about it. Because there's a lot of stuff coming. It's happening. I wanted to say happening and coming, and I went halfway. Okay, so let's look at these badass banners. Now, this is JP. So, but that's the only way I'm going to be able to use my Future Vision, my Clairvoyance EX. So, some people at the last minute thought maybe we'd get Amakusa Shiro as a pickup summon, like, as part of Thanksgiving. I would not have been opposed to that, and the reason behind that is because they merged Skahawk's banner, which was supposed to be on Thanksgiving. It wasn't a Thanksgiving banner, but it was supposed to be on Thanksgiving in JP. And they merged it with an actual Thanksgiving banner. That was the infamous GSSR screw-up. And she didn't get another raid-up for it. But so, because of this, people thought they'd re-release Amakusa Shiro with that combined, like he'd be part of it, and that did not happen. So, people are now wondering. I've looked at my Discord. By the way, if you want to follow my Discord server, it is in the description below. Anyway, which you should always be looking in the description below, because all my links are there, but anyway. We don't know if this is happening. Like, we do not... The Altera one, fuck it. Like, that one's not happening. I mean, it could... But then there'd be like 10 million banners overlapping each other. Because let's be serious about this. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, so now we've got this this new Thanksgiving banner that's happening over top of the Jack banner. And the ending of the Knights of the Round banner, which like just... I don't even remember if it actually ended. I haven't been playing NA for a little bit. For just a little bit. But you guys tell me, did it end? Because I don't know. Anyway, point is, they're overlapping like a billion banners now. And they're going to overlap like a billion more. Because they're going to cram everything... Hi, Rinny! I hope my stream goes well, too. I'm talking a mile a minute here. Anyway, where was I? Sorry, I hate stopping my train of thought, but I'll do it for Rinny. Okay, so... we are going to have Christmas 2 no matter what, so the problem is Amakusa Shiro is part of Christmas 2, and definitely Ishtar is. Like, Ishtar is a big one. Altera just kind of happens, I think they're just gonna scrap hers. There's not even a reason for it. There's just a random Altera rate up in there. I think they're gonna scrap it. That's my bold prediction there. But yeah. But Amakusa Shiro, I feel sorry for this man, because if he doesn't get his second rate up, I mean, it's gonna be a long time, I'm pretty sure, before he gets another one. Let's look into our future vision. I'm pretty sure he doesn't get another one for a long time. So if you like this man, and I do, I like that man. Jesus Christmas. Wow, does he even get another one? Oh, there it is, with the Apocrypha anime broadcast summon, which we're probably not getting, because we already have an English dub for it. Unless it appears on TV. Poor man. And no Semiramis, well, that's because she appears in the following Valentines, but anyway. Oh, Amakusa Shiro. Holy Jesus! Yeah, if they don't... Okay. He gets another Apocrypha thing, but it's for a special event that happened exclusively in Japan. Oh, Amakusa Shiro. Oh, if you like the church, you're boned if they don't do that Amakusa Shiro pickup summon for Christmas. You are boned! I'm sorry, but wow! Because you cannot count on those Apocrypha summons. You can only count on this one. Sorry, guys. If you like Amakusa Shiro, hopefully they don't forget about you. I hope you already have him. Oh, do they do a Kalea Boys rerun? Did I skip it? Oh, thank God! Holy Jesus! Oh, okay. So if they don't do that one, the one above, that's basically your last confirmed chance. Woo! Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, because that's pretty much guaranteed. They're doing rerun summons anyway, so yeah, there you go. You get one there, and that's about it. That's confirmed that you can possibly confirm in your mind. But yeah. Do I think he's worth it? Yes. Now, I'm really struggling on that one because he's only really good after his rank ups. And after that, he's boss. Because he's one of the very few servants in the game who removes buffs before he hits, and it's AoE. And he's Buster. And Merlin's a thing. So yeah. Yeah, that whole joke about him not being able to clear hands goes right out the window. After Merlin comes out and when he gets his rank ups. His rank ups are huge, by the way. Anyway. But Ishtar's pretty much confirmed, so you don't have to worry about that. Ishtar will be coming very soon. If you have any questions about her, there's going to be a video about her. Do not worry, it's basically an NA-JP collab video that I'm doing. It's mashing two servants together, because they're both related. So if you have any questions about her, that's basically going to answer all of them. She's very straightforward, so it's kind of easy to cover. With the Altera one, I mean, I have no idea. I don't think they're going to do it. Because it's just so random. Anyway, to Babylonia, though. I've been eating up a lot of time here. Luckily, it's only been, like, close to 35 minutes. Huh. Oh, I can't clear his hand because it cuts off his own to do it. Oh, no. Oh, Nina's here, too. I didn't forget about you. Goodness me. Anyway, so to Babylonia Banners. This is the big one you guys are probably concerned about if you're playing NA. Okay. What's her skills? They're all attack buffs, except for one invincibility. Which even then is technically kind of an attack buff, because you can get... Wait, no! That's right! Hold on. Let's look at Ishtar for a second. So I don't get it wrong, because I'm going to look foolish even though I'm doing a video about her, so I mention it anyway. So if I mention anything foolish here about Ishtar, it's... yeah. Anyway, she has Radiant Great Crown, which applies Invincible, chance to, anyway. 80%, never changes. Or chance to apply Ignore Invincible, so it's technically kind of an attack buff. For 1 turn. It's also an MP steroid, and it goes up to 50%. So, as you can see from her skills here, she's really straightforward, sort of, ish. I'll talk about this in the video. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to focus on it. Let's just put it this way. I don't want to focus on Ishtar too much right now, because I literally am going to do a big video about her. So, All of your questions, I assure you, about Ishtar will be answered in that video. Anyway. Babylonia. Let's talk about this. Okay, so. Let's start off with the big one. If you are going to roll, which one is more worth your dollars? Because you're probably, given how infrequent St. Quartz is on NA, I almost guarantee some of you are going to have to, in fact, a lot of you are going to have to spend money if you want to roll on either of these. And yes, I know the big meme king is down there. Just settle your tits for a second. Okay, we'll talk about him. I would say, somebody brought it up. Demonic Bodhisattva is really, really good. You can see this, the Kiara CE right here. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in for you guys. Enhance! This Kiara CE is really good. I'm not kidding with you. Let's take a look at what it does. Increase NP gauge by 50% at the start of battle, at base. And then increase NP overcharge by 2 levels 1 time. There are a lot of servants in this game. A lot who benefit from overcharge. A lot. If you know any servant that buffs themselves like Ishtar before they attack. Perfect CE for them. Right away. Characters like Tamamo, who get huge benefits to your party from overcharge. Perfect CE for them. Because not only does it do that overcharge, basically give you a mini Edison, without actually having to use him, you get a starting NP gauge, 50%. Booyah! And that's at base. You do not have to max limit break it. Worth. Let's talk about Gil Caster real quick. This guy. He's really weak physically, but he basically turns your arts cards into quick cards with just this first skill for 3 turns. He's also got an arts buff and a debuff success rate on all your peeps, including himself, for 3 turns. And then he has a charisma on top of it, which is actually very, very, very strong charisma. You can see at the end there, 20%, 21%. And his cooldowns are not bad. On this one, it's kind of bad, but that's because this is a really big buff, guys, to your critical star drop rate, up to 100% for any card. That's pretty massive. And on arts cards, it actually works wonders. His Noble Phantasm, he doesn't do a lot of damage because, well, one, his attack points are actually pretty low. But, and having used him myself, I can assure you he's not physically strong. But that's not why you use him. Because he's really good at the NP gain, because he also you see that territory creation up there too, along with his arts buff. And he has the full arts deck, because he's a caster, duh. You know, most casters have that, and he should, you know. But he decreases the defense for all, he decreases the defense for all enemies, and increases the defense for you guys. So he's kind of like an arts Semiramis. Granted, if you are not familiar with Semiramis, she comes much, much later. She also decreases, she increases your party's defense, but also attacks. Anyway, he is not even story locked. Let's close this. He's not even story locked. He's, let me just confirm. Hold on, not summon. I want servants. Caster. Give me a second. Just want to confirm. I know this, but I always just like to double check. Yeah, okay. So yeah, as you can see, because it says limited pickup, yeah. Okay, so he's not even story locked. So you can get him at random times. It's entirely possible. I've seen it happen. But if you like arts cards, it's your favorite thing, and you like golden trash cans, as Rinny likes to call them, he's perfect for you. I'm dead serious. If you like arts cards, this is your guy. I'm completely serious. He is worth at least a few quartz. There's also Enkidu. And, I mean, if you want... Okay, I already talked about Medusa Lancer, Medusa Lily, whatever you want to call her before. She's Ite. She's fine. There's not really much to say about her because she's actually really straightforward. She just attacks. That's basically her shtick. She doesn't have anything really interesting like Gilgamesh or our clay boy, Enkidu here. Let's talk about him. He's really super interesting, and I don't know if I'm going to do a video on him, though. So I'm going to cover a bunch of him here. Okay. So clay boy. He's got pretty good hit counts. In fact, really solid hit counts. He's a quick boy with a Buster Noble Phantasm. Now, granted, he does this interesting shtick of decreasing the enemy's defense for 3 turns before he attacks. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice utility. He's single target, and he inflicts stun pretty much automatically on Divine. I mean, you see that 500%, you're just like, yeah, he's probably going to inflict stun on anything Divine. There's a lot of Divine servants in the game, so I wouldn't worry about that. That's not something like demonic or something. Like some servants have like demonic trait they do special damage against, or something like they're sovereign or something like that. It's like, no, Divine covers a lot of servants. Anyone who has Divinity or Core of the Goddess, Divine. There's a lot of those. He has really high magic resistance, which is nice. And then his skills. Okay, so he needs his rank up to be better, because he's a weird boy. Right away, you're going to see Transfiguration. For 1 turn, he automatically increases his Buster effectiveness, and then at random, there's not even a percentage. At random, he chooses to either increase his Quick or his Arts. Both 1 turn. And they go up to 50% each. So pretty good mana burst, and also another random card. It will be one or the other. I don't think I've ever seen it where he doesn't choose either. But he always chooses one completely at random. It's probably one of the most random algorithms I've ever seen in the game. You cannot count on that, on which one it's going to be. Because there's not even a percentage listed, so. Oops. But here's the big one. Here's the really big one, because he has a giant HP increase. Or HP recovery, rather. Sorry, those are 2 different things. He has a giant one, but has a really, really high cooldown. I mean, you can basically recover his entire HP in 1 shot with Perfect Form A. Which is, you know, lore and stuff like somebody mentioned lore, and it's like, yeah, a lot of Enkidu, a lot of what he does is lore. That's what makes him a weird boy. But yeah, he gets a massive HP recovery here, and automatically removes all of his debuffs. And here's the big one. Here's the deciding factor. He does have a rank up later, which he doesn't start off with an evade to himself. Which the problem is, and it's remove only evade, not invincibility, evade. And then he decreases his critical rate for a targeted enemy for 3 turns. It's worse when it starts out. It's worse than Brynhilder's second skill, which decreases critical rate for 3 turns and decreases NP strength by like half for 1 turn. This is technically worse until he gets his rank up. So, where he gets his own evade. Then it suddenly becomes light. I mean, it's weird, but it's aight. Because at least he gets his own evade. He basically trades evade with a targeted enemy. But the big question is he good? Well, and I have used him myself plenty of times because I had to get his rank up and stuff like that, and I wanted to play around with him because he's quick-based, but has a Buster Noble Phantasm. I guess the better question is he worth rolling on? Well, another thing is he's not even story-locked. We'll confirm this right now. Okay, so I did keep this. Okay. We'll confirm this right now. He's not even story-locked. Sorry, talking so much is getting me really hungry, so I'm losing my energy really fast. It's a good thing I decided to keep this to around close to an hour. No, still up a bit more. Yeah, he's not even... Okay, so you can get him at random. It's entirely possible. He's fun to play with. Especially after his rank up. He's fun to play with, so if that means anything for you, I mean, good on you. He has a massive HP stat on top of that. He's actually not very strong, but but he has a massive HP stat, even among Lancers. Oh, you want to see Medusa Lily really quick? Yeah. She's got a massive HP stat, very low attack. She's a 4-star. She's not limited or story locked either. Basically, that's the thing, is that, and here's what we come to the segue here. No one on this is even story locked. So it depends on the level of worth here. However, they get you with the CE, the Demonic Bodhisattva CE, which is amazing. And you will use it. Unless you have a weird couple setups where you're just like, I don't feel like it. That's entirely possible. That's up to you. But it's so good, if you get it, you'll probably end up using it at least once. How's it going, Hazel? But that's how they get you with this banner. Then we come to all the story-locked people. Ketz and Gorgon are physically strong. Much stronger than either of these boys. So if you're in it for the power game, like you're like, I just want to hit people really fucking hard. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to Gorgon. Story locked, but 4-star Avenger. Big deal. Because we don't get Salieri for a very long time. 4-star Avenger. Much easier to get than Edmond Dantes or Jean Alter. And she's Buster-based, while still having at least 2 arts cards. So she's not completely Buster. It's nice. It's a nice even spread. She is AoE, though. But again, Buster works nicely with Memelin, or a lot of Buster servants, really. The good thing is she's not quick. Because this point in the game, quick is not heavily supported, but Buster is. You can do a lot. Not to mention, she also has, after her, I think it's an interlude, she does buff, and she does give an NP gauge boost to all allies, which is really nice, especially for a Buster servant. It's small, but it's nice. She also inflicts Curse, which is no joke, because, I mean, when have you been on the edge of killing someone and you're like, God damn it, why couldn't I kill them? You know, that's a pretty big curse, considering. And it's 5 turns of that. So that's nice. And it's overcharged, you know. She does have big attack. Very big attack. I recall her being, I think, the strongest 4-star in the game, in terms of sheer attack points. At least up to NA, she's the strongest. I know that. To where NA is going to be. She's the physically strongest in the game. Go figure, she's an Avenger. Oh, I'm not bullying her. No. Some people actually think worse of her than I do, because she's so basic, but she has a really good Mystic Eyes to stun. And I say it's good because it goes up to 105% with a decent cooldown. At max, then you get it every 6 turns, which is nice. Her Guts is Ite. Increases her critical strength, so she's basically Buster Crit, which is going to be the meta. Prepare for it. If you actually care about that anyway, that's going to be the meta. So basically, and she has a big attack buff. It's just a general attack buff, but it's up to 50% every 5 turns. I would say level this first, even though this is tempting because of how neat it can be. And having that extra stun, and then the Guts on top of that, increasing her critical strength by up to 50 for 3 turns. Monster strength first, because you want to spam it as much as possible. What were her passives? She has the usual Avenger ones. 3.8, it's basically 4. It'll only matter in the very minute circumstances, but basically 4%. So it's around Jean level. Oblivion Correction, it's kind of low for Avengers, if I remember correctly. And then Avenger B, also fairly low for Avengers, but I could be wrong. I remember it being around more like 20% for the 5-star ones, but pretty light. If she gets beat up, oh yeah, she's gonna gain an NP. She's gonna gain a lot of NP. And granted, okay, so she's got 5 hits on 2 arts cards and 5 hit extra attack, and 0.37%. Let me figure out the base for that for you guys real quick, because I can tell if that's good or bad based on the base, because I've been comparing a lot of these lately. Okay, so 5 times 0.37%. That's base. Per hit, that's okay. It's not great, unfortunately. Her NP... But that's, again, it's balance. I'm not going to bully her. I know a bunch of you people are saying, don't bully the Snek. And I'm like, no, I'm not bullying her. Because she's got all this. She's got all this. If she had really high NP gain, she'd probably be, like, way higher up on a tier list. Any given tier list. And she's already, like, pretty solid. I'd say she's pretty solidly built, honestly, because she does at least have some kind of defense, which also gives her critical strength. And that Gust does last 5 turns, so it works out. Even though it's odd, it works out. Actually, it would have been really neat if they put the critical strength on the Mystic Eyes, but whatever. She's really solid, and she's story locked, so keep that in mind. And a 4-star Avenger. So also, again, because of that, highest attack of any 4-star in the game up to this point in NA. So consider. Definitely consider. Anyway, back to the banners. Then there's Quartz. I would say she's one of the best riders in the game, but the problem is there's a lot of really good riders. There's a lot of them. But, I will say this. Her NP gain is around, actually, Snek level, because she has the same deck with around the same percentage. I already can tell you off the top of my head, these are easy numbers. And she's got the same extra attack. So, yeah. Based on the percentages and the hit counts, it's around Snek numbers. So she's aight. She's aight with the NP gain. But, with being a rider, this. She's got a good charisma skill. She's got the same one as Gil caster. She's got a Guts, which increases Buster effectiveness. Pretty good. Until you realize, targeted ally. Jesus Christmas. That's really good. Oh my god. Like, that sets her fucking out in the stratosphere right there for NA. Holy Jesus. And then, yeah, Lucha Libre EX. She likes to lucha. She likes to lucha hard. She increases her critical gather rate, her critical strength, and her NP gauge. This is basically the, I don't have spectacular NP gain on my own, so let's fix that. That's what this skill is. She gains so much NP, so much strength, like up to 50% on here. And then on top of that, gets a decent NP steroid up to 30%. It's nuts. It's really good. I like this skill a lot. And I have her in JP. I use her whenever I need a rider. Granted, it depends on the team because there is still Kintoki Rider. That's probably the big question on your mind if you have Kintoki Rider. You're probably thinking, is she better than him? Well, that's kind of hard to say. She also has Core as the Goddess EX, which is the highest in the game by far. In fact, I think she might be one of the only ones who have it, if not the only one. Because I rarely see this. Like, very rarely. But yes, she also is single target, inflicts NP Seal, which is actually really nice. I like NP Seal a lot. And then inflicts Burn with Overcharge for 5 turns. It's the same as Gorgon's Curse. I think it was Gorgon's Curse. Pretty sure. And she has Riding EX. You'll see why. You'll see why from her attack animations. And she's got really good magic resistance. If you like Buster, she's your girl. If you prefer Quick, I'd say stick with Kintoki Rider. That's pretty much the deal. It depends on which one you prefer. And the problem is, I would say, it's an even split, Works out. Kintoki Rider can fight on his own just fine. But you are not gonna see Scotty for a long time, guys. So I know some people are like, I'll just wait for Scotty, it's fine. She doesn't come for almost like 2 years, guys. Okay? So, from like this very moment. And there's not a lot of people who replace her until then. Like, she is her own thing, basically. That's why a lot of people call her Quick Merlin. Because there's not really anyone who's been quite like her in terms of how big a deal she advances quick into the meta. So, but Kintoki Rider is good enough that he can stand on his own. Yeah, if we even make it to Scotty. Good point. 600 people! Jesus Christ, you guys are... I guess you guys are liking this. I hope I'm being informative to you. I like Quartz a lot. I like her very much, you know. She may be a little bit goofy looking, you know. I like her a lot as a servant. She is very, 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 very good. But it depends on who you value more when it comes to Kintoki Rider and Quartz, because they can basically do the same shit. However, there is one thing, now looking at it. Now, this is like breaking news right now. I'm literally making this decision on the spot. There is one thing that sets her apart. Big way. This. Kintoki only has a heal. He has a basic heal. It's a very basic heal. It's not like Enkidu's, which is this massive fucking, like, I've restarted my entire HP. You know, it's like, no. He gets up to, I think, like 3,000 at level 10. And it's going to be the skill you don't even level that much, because it's just, it increases his attack buff resist, whatever. Or, not attack buff resist, but resist towards things that would lower his attack. It's kind of basic. It's actually kind of lame. He has no defense. On his own, he has no defense. This is... I think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because she has a defense. She can put it on anyone. And it increases their Buster Card resistance. Or, sorry, effectiveness. Wow. A complete opposite thing. It increases their Buster Card effectiveness. I'm sorry. And thank you for the $5 donation. Yo, so how come Quartz doesn't possess anyone we know? Like Ishtar with the Rainer. Good question. Oh, and hashtag Quartz top tier big sister. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And it makes sense because she's a 5-star story lock. So it's kind of like she better be good. Yeah, I think this is what puts her over Kintoki, because if somebody dies, they can come back. Granted, it's only it's a static 1,000. But it's on anyone. It's on her, and it increases her power. It's on somebody else, and it increases their powers. Very good. You're doing just fine? Thank you. So I'm gonna say it's a hard decision, and someone's gonna disagree with me. I would say this is what puts her over Kintoki Rider, since we won't have Scotty for like 2 years. To make the power increase massive. You know, like, for Kintoki Rider. The ceiling just goes through... there is no ceiling for Kintoki Rider after Scotty comes out. But in the current, like, 2 years that come up, I'm gonna be honest, guys, if you want a really good fucking rider, like, okay, the next question is, how does she compare to Ozzy? And that's not even really fair, because Ozzy is more of a support servant than he is a straight fighter, like Lucha Libre here. Like, this chick will pound anyone into the ground. Anyone. That is her job. She destroys whatever she sees. But hey, yeah, if you want to combine her with Ozzy, I almost recommend it. So... And what about the 3-star? Oh, good question. Jaguar Man. Oh boy, I hope you don't like Taiga, because you're not gonna like what I say about Jaguar Man! Or Jaguar Warrior, whatever. It used to be Jaguar Man, but whatever. I used to remember the days long past when it was Jaguar Man. Okay. You're not gonna like what I say about Taiga. But yes, she's a pseudo-servant. It's Taiga. It's big sister Taiga. And if you want to know who's possessing her, it's literally a cat. It's a cat spirit. It's a jaguar spirit from South America. It's literally what's possessing her. Anyway, thank you for the $5 donation, darling Goo. You are spoiling me. You're so nice, Rennie. I love you. Anyway, oh, has it been confirmed to just be 3SQ? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that the new banner is coming out. We're just getting 3SQ. Anyway, yeah, it's basically Catwoman as a servant. All right, what can she do? Well, she has Jaguar Punch, with a horrible cooldown. But what can it do? Increases Buster Card effectiveness for 3 turns, up to 30%. So you know it's kind of standard. Increase debuff, overall debuff resist for 3 turns. Again, this is taller, just herself for 40%. That's fine. Apply Evade 2 times. That's nice, and it doesn't ever go away. That's really nice, actually. And she gains critical stars up to 15. So, the cooldown is awful. There's no way around it. That cooldown fucking sucks. But, with everything it gives, at least everything it gives is poignant. Everything it gives, as long as she can make the evades last, might be worth it. Might be okay, actually. But then there's this. 2 turns, increase, just flat out increase attack for herself. 30% up to 5 turns. That's pretty solid, actually. That's around, I like to call it Hesian Lobo range. That's Hesian Lobo range. Because Hesian Lobo also has this skill, basically. It's not called Jaguar Kick, but it's the same thing. It's up to 30% for 5 turns. And it's over 2 turns. It's Hesian Lobo range. And then there's this. This is where I say, God damn it, Taiga. You could have been actually kind of okay. Actually kind of decent. If it didn't have to be restricted to forest. Okay, increased critical strength. Just critical strength. No gather rate, no drop rate, no nothing. Just critical strength. And she's a Lancer, keep in mind. So she's got, like, basic star weight. Up to 50% for 6 turns at max. And then, only if you're in the forest. Increased drop rate and gather rate 3 turns. Pretty massive. But, only if you're in the forest. Ooh! Rip! That's like Waterside on Martha. How many times is that actually gonna come up? It comes up a lot in Babylonia, sure. But... And Gawain, yeah, Gawain with sunlight is better, because at least there's a lot of places that are sunny. You could argue that. I don't know what's confirmed to be sunlight and what's not, specifically, for Gawain, but I will say at least his is better. There's a lot of maps that are sunny, so... this is Jaguar Man, if you just came in, by the way. We're talking about Taiga. Somebody asked about the 3-star, I think it was Buster Swordsman, and I figured, you know what? I almost forgot about her. So, let's talk about her. Her hit counts are strange. What's her deck like? Okay, she's got the typical Lancer deck, and she's got her Noble Phantasm. It applies Sure Hit. Okay, I'm never going to argue with Sure Hit. I'm never going to, ever. Because I know how annoying Evade can be. Deal damage to target, yeah, so it's single target, and then decrease their debuff resist for 3 turns. That's not terrible. I'm not going to argue with that. It's like the same as, like... the same value, I would say, as decreasing critical hit rate. You can get mileage out of it, but it's... Actually, I would say critical hit rate is better. Decreasing critical hit rate, I'd say it's better. Just because criticals can be nasty against you. So I'd say if it was, like, decreased critical... Yeah, this is probably the worst one. If I had to really be brutal here, I would say this is the worst decrease you can get on from like a Noble Phantasm onto an enemy in the game. I would say this is the worst one. Just thinking about it. There's probably maybe there's worse. It's just I'm thinking of the common types. Okay, I'm sorry. But she has Divinity. It's whatever on her. And then she has Madness Enhancement E. You're barely gonna notice it. At least it's better than Beowulf's E-. Her magic resistance though is pretty good, actually. I think the only reason she doesn't have Core of the Goddess, though, is because she literally has the soul of an animal in her. Not a god or goddess, you know, who is human in appearance. No, just a jaguar. So Divinity. No extra debuff resist. But I guess it's whatever. I mean, whatever makes her better at this point, because... that forest shit. I mean, I get it, but... Ugh. Okay, whatever. It's a male spell. Oh, okay. Maybe that even more reason to make it just Divinity A. Because it has a penis. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. So, is she good? I mean... Are you gonna use her over Ku? And you want to know what's worse? Oh, let me show you. I'm sure about this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah! Yeah! She's story-locked! Oh, I can't wait for somebody to come back at me and be like,
You don't understand, voice. Jaguar Man is amazing.
and it's just like, you could argue some of the things I've had opinions on in the past, but oh man, that's so strange. Yeah, if you have basically a more basic Lancer, you're probably better off. So, yeah, I know Lancer Ride goes down there. We won't see her for a while. Anyway, so that covers basically everyone on the Babylonia banners. And it's just over an hour now. Do you guys have any questions before we move on? Because I'm just to give you an idea, since it is over an hour now, we're just gonna go to the near future. Like, so the things we can foresee. And involves new stuff. So, when Merlin, we'll get to him, but first, do we have any questions regarding what I just talked about? Any of the Babylonia stuff that I did not answer? And I don't worry, I'll be able to tell you if I answered it or not. So I'll give you a moment. I'll give you guys a moment to type out your questions. No, we're following JP, just some things are a bit more loosey-goosey than others. Like the New Year's Gacha is a bit more loosey-goosey. I did go over Demonic Bodhisattva. I said it's basically, like, super fucking awesome. And I explained why. Basically, anyone who relies on an overcharge to be really, really good is gonna want it. Missed the verdict on Gore. Oh, I said she's basic, but she's very fucking strong. So consider. She's physically very, very strong. She hits hard. I said she's the strongest hitting 4-star that you guys will see for a long, long time. We might get to this. Shiro, I mean, we might get to it. Yes, Aresh is a cutie patootie. Medusa Lancer is Ite. So, to answer your question, she is okay. She is okay. How hard is the campaign? That's up to you. It will depend on how you experience it. It is... I've heard a lot of people say that they think it's not as hard as Camelot. Depends. Depends on who you have. And I'm not talking about Merlin. It just depends on who you have. We might go over her, because I think she's the last new one that people have to worry about in a row. Do I need to roll Gorgon if I already have Shelter? No, if you already... I'll tell you this, Ghost, to answer your question. That's actually a very good question. If you already have Shelter, I would not bother with Gorgon. That's a very good question. But, Gorgon, I would say, is for the people who missed out on the limited Avengers and want a really strong Avenger. Because we don't get Salieri for a very long time. So a 3-star Avenger is out of the question for a long, long time. So if you want an easier to obtain Avenger, like you really want that sheer total power, I would say then roll for Gorgon. But if you have Jalter, or heck, even if you have Edmund Dantes, I would say Gorgon's not really worth it. Yeah, Lobo is actually arguably better than her. But it depends if you... It actually kind of depends if you have Merlin. If you have Merlin, Gorgon's actually kind of amazing. But not better than Jalter. Yes, we have Angra Manu. I don't like to count him. He's so weird, he might as well be any class. Yeah, especially if you have Edmund, because he is a AoE. And Edmund is very strong. Like, I don't even mean with Scotty. He's physically very strong, even with quick cards. He does a lot of damage. He's one of the highest in the game, even in JP, in terms of sheer attack power. And he does still have 2 Buster cards, so... Penth comes out when Agartha comes out, and that's towards the middle of next year. But anyway, okay, so it doesn't look like we have any more questions about that, about the Babylonia banners. So let's move on to what you've all probably been waiting for, because I'm not going to do a straightforward Merlin video. I had a poll in my YouTube community chat, in that tab, and I got 4.3k votes. And the majority, the vast majority, about 50% of you said you would rather a sillier video about Merlin. So we're going to talk about Merlin in serious depth right fucking now. Okay, so, because that's why you're here. Alright, so, Merlin, the meme master himself. Alright, first I'm going to check my Discord because there's a whole bunch of people tagging me. Oh, that's just an announcement, and... Who got me in general? Sorry. Oh, just here. Okay, whatever. Okay, so. Yep, it's happening. We're talking about Meme Master Merlin. Okay. Magus of Flowers. I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys. Whatever you want him to do, he'll do it. He can make it happen. Just take a quick glance at everything he does here, and then we're gonna go over it in depth. Alright, so he's got the basic caster deck right down. This is where it all starts. This shit. Okay? This spammable NP right here. Restore HP of all allies per turn for 5 turns based on level. We're gonna just assume you just want 1 copy, so we're gonna go with 1,000. But it can go up to 2,000 per turn for 5 turns. That's a lot. That's a long time. Increase NP gauge of all allies per turn for 5 turns. 5%. It stays at 5%, so, I mean... Yeah, don't mix that up. Don't confuse that. That's not the thing that gets overcharged. What does get overcharged is the critical stars per turn for 5 turns. Keep that in mind. That is a big deal because if you overcharge it even once, you get 10 instead of 5. Big jump. And it's a big jump every single goddamn overcharge. Which, by the way, remember when I mentioned demonic bodhisattva? It's really hard to say fast. I know how to say it. It's really hard to say fast. Demonic bodhisattva? Probably a decent idea to kickstart your team with Demonic Bodhisattva on this boy. You could put Prisma Cosmos on him too, because he also has Mixed Blood EX. Gains 5% per turn for himself. Every turn. Just constantly. Just never goes away. Never. Goes away. Never. But yeah, if you would start him out with... That's a big jump, because that's boom, boom. You would start off with this overcharge. 15 per turn for 5 turns. That's fucking massive. Demonic Bodhisattva is fucking great. I love that. Love a fucking card. Anyway, it's literally a fucking card because it's got Kiara on it. I know, it's disgusting. Anyway. And luckily, Demonic Bodhisattva is not, like, locked in any way or limited. You can get it at random at any time after the Babylonia banner, the first one. So, but just keep it in mind. You could use 2030 as well. In fact, if you want to be really disgusting, yeah, you could just make up for this with 2030. But I'm considering... everything. Keep that in mind. I'm considering everything his NP does. Now, also, you could keep in mind, put 2030 on somebody else. That way, you could put Demonic Bodhisattva on this boy, and then put 2030 on somebody else, and have your main hitter getting a fuck ton of critical stars every fucking turn, as well as good heal every 5 turns, NP gauge every 5 turns. You see why Jalter became fucking broken? And, yes, thank you, Sith Gem. It stacks. It does. This stacks. Good thing it's 5 turns, because if it was 3 turns, I'd actually be worried. Yeah, I'm getting more disgusted by the second. I know. Woo. And he's got an arts deck, so spamming is no problem. His NP gain is not even bad. Like, I mean, it's... Well, actually, no, it's actually, I think... The thing he has the advantage of is the fact that he has the 3 arts cards, so he can arts chain all the gosh darn time. So his NP gain itself is not great, but I mean, given his benefits, given mixed blood, it doesn't really matter. Territory creation say it's whatever. You guys are really gonna... This is where we get into this. Okay, so just his NP alone is worth consideration with his arts deck. But then we get to, and his passives too, but then we get to, oh, by the way, if you want to know how good this is, Chaldea Gurus did have it right. This is the highest percentage every turn in the game for any character. To get 5% per turn, just as a passive, that's the highest of any character in the game. up to this point. So, pretty good. Anyway, but here, let's get to these. Okay. Fantasy Charisma, or Charisma Fantasy. It's a Charisma buff, really solid one, up to 20% for 5 turns on all allies. And increases their NP gauge once for a static 20%. Considering it's static, that's pretty awesome. So that means, I mean, you should level it, but... Oh, don't worry, we'll get to this. We'll get to Hero Creation EX. But this alone, just considering everything involved, the fact that at level 1 you get the 20%, and then you just get more power as you level it, and it's only 5 turns on all allies at max. That's a nice charisma. That's a really good charisma. And then on top of that, we have Illusionism, which is like the best protect in the game. Apply Invincible 1 turn. All allies. Increase critical star drop rate 1 turn. All allies. Decrease critical rate of all enemies 3 turns. All enemies. Critical star drop rate goes up to 50% at max. That's pretty solid. Their critical star rate, or their critical rate goes down to 20. It's like, you know, that's probably not the part you're concerned. Yeah, apply Invincible 1 turn to all allies. It basically, whatever your enemy throws at you, unless it's like Lancer or Toria, you're safe. You're just safe. And then you max it, 7 turns you can do it. I think this is the thing that keeps it from being absolutely busted. Because on its own, it's a fantastic skill. I've used this, I've relied on it many, 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 many times. Great skill. You pair him with Tamamo? That shit is broken! Okay, anyway. So that's pretty self-explanatory, though. Here's where we get to the big Puff Daddy memes. Hero Creation EX. Targeted ally gets increased Buster Card effectiveness for 3 turns, up to 50%. That is on its own, like, one of the strongest, most useful mana bursts in the game. In the game, even to this point. 3 turns, ally, 50%. 3 turns, ally, 50%. Cooldown, 6 turns at max. Florence does not have it this strong, though, because, let me continue. Increase maximum HP of targeted ally for 3 turns, up to 3,000. That's pretty big. That's a nice buff to my HP to make sure my Jalter doesn't die. Or, you know, anyone I choose. And then increase their critical strength for 1 turn, up to 100%. So, recap. Increase Buster effectiveness, 3 turns, targeted ally, 50%. Increase their maximum HP for 3 turns, up to 3,000. Targeted ally, make sure they don't die, while critting hard as fuck for 1 turn. Targeted ally, up to 100%. Oh my god! Now, you'd be like, critical strength up? Whatever, man. He's an arts guy. Who gives a Oh. Oh. Remember what we talked about. Oh. Oh. And if you're worried about star weight, oh. Yeah, his star weight is super low. He's probably not going to absorb most of those critical stars. So, you combine this, with anyone having 20/30. Even just 1 copy. Doesn't even have to be maximum broken. You are swimming in crits! Swimming in hard hits! Swimming in critical stars! Woo-woo! And yes, he does have really nice art. I dig it. He's a very beautiful man. He's also part Incubus, so go figure. Sorry, Incubus, yep. And yeah, don't forget about that drop rate, which helps even arts cards get critical stars. So when you're blocking, you're still making gains. Oh. Man. Yeah, he's got that magic dong. And he's got charisma. He's one suave swag motherfucker. So yeah, fourth skill gives your waifu dong. So yeah, that's, if you want to know why everybody was like, yo, you need Jalter, she's the best. Before, she was just a glass cannon. She could hit super hard, but she couldn't survive very long. She had one invincibility skill, but it took away her HP, and if you slapped her real good, she'd just fall right down. Then Merlin says, how about I give you magic dong? So, and then the crit buster memes begin. So any questions? I think I've said my piece on Merlin. That's pretty much it. Like, he has literally everything you could want. My theory, I think I may have said this in a video. I think I did. Where I believed he was intended to make Berserkers better, and inadvertently made everyone better. So yeah, Merlin's no joke. If you want to think, like, I'm not saying you have to roll for this man, but Phino said it best. If you don't have Merlin, you will just be using your support Merlin instead. And he realized he would rather try to roll for Merlin to free up that support slot so that he wasn't just using it with Merlin all the time. Challenge quest, that's a fair estimate as well. So, but if you want to know, this was the reason. This man is the reason why eventually in the game, you cannot double up on characters. This guy's the reason. Double Waver didn't even do it. It's this guy. Not even Scotty. It's this guy. This guy did it first. So, oops. My bad. Well, I mean, we were gonna probably go out of that anyway. So, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, unless you're Honoko Green. I'm not saying, though, that everyone, you must roll for Merlin or you are worthless or something like that. It's like, no. You are not worthless if you don't get Merlin, or if you don't even roll for him. I'm just saying, because I've been playing JP for a while, I don't have Merlin. Granted, Scotty exists. Whatever. But point is, like, you can still easily play the game, and play it well, and have fun without Merlin. But that is a really, really good point that Phino made. That if you are concerned about your support slot, at least try. So, who's better, Ishtar or Resh? Wait for the video. I actually compared the two. Now, granted, you might not like the conclusion because they really are like comparing apples to oranges, but so a bit more loosey-goosey with even trying to compare them necessarily, but I do put them both on the table and say, like, this is what they both do. This is how they compare just in a factual sense, rather than in an opinion sense. So, if you have Waver, you're kind of okay. But Waver does not do the same things, so consider that as well. I'm just being fair. I'm just saying, Waver does not... That's why Waver is also still relevant. Actually, that's a good thing for Waver, that he doesn't do the same things, because Nightingale, for example, is basically obsolete because of Merlin. Like, you could say, but she's a Berserker and she has a massive heal. Merlin gives crit strength, critical stars, up the ass. And he does the same skill that Nightingale does, but he combines two of hers in one. He gives you max HP increase, which is up to 3,000, which does count basically as a heal until it goes away. And then he gives the same Buster increase. With virtually... I think she has a lower cooldown by, like, 1. But consider. Also, Merlin's limited. He is limited, yes. And his next rate up isn't until about closer towards the end of next year. Yeah. But Waver, yes, Waver has way better flexibility. I agree with this wholeheartedly. That is why he's able to stay in the game. He has better flexibility, and he does completely different shit. Completely different. What he does, much of what he does, Merlin does not do. So he's fine, you know. Same thing with Tamamo. That's why Tamamo is still relevant. And why she's still considered great is because she's arts-focused completely, and what she does, Merlin does not do. There is, like, no one who really does the cooldown shtick that she does. There's Ryder Artoria, but I would not recommend using her over Tamamo. Sorry. So, just based on... I know it's comparing apples to oranges, but that's kind of me saying that, I'm sorry, Ryder Artoria Alter is just not that good in general. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's much later. That's for Summer 2. And I'm sure I'll do stuff about that later when that comes anyway. So does anyone have any other questions about the Meme Master? Because I know that's why most of you are here. Yes, truth be told, Nightingale does have a way different NP. So you could argue that keeps her in the game, but it's a struggle. You could put both together, sure. There's a lot of people you could put with Merlin, really. Just here to chill, that's fine. That's equally relevant. And there's over 600 of you. You guys must... Man, you guys really like me talking about servants. Jesus. GSSR will be coming on New Year's. I can almost guarantee it. We did talk about this at the very beginning, but considering there's no GSSR on Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure they decided from the backlash to just move it to New Year's so it's fairer, because there's a bunch of SSRs that are coming out. Like, for example, Kets and Enkidu, that would not be on that banner. That would not be on the GSSR. You'd be missing out on the chance to get them. And let's check real quick. Is Merlin here? Okay, Merlin is not listed on the caster GSSR. I'm sorry, guys. At least for this coming new year. So, get him while you can, because you're not going to be able to even use your paid Quartz for that slim chance. So, at least not this year. I don't know if he comes back in other years, or at least anniversary. No, he doesn't show up there either. Holy shit. Holy fuck. I know Merlin shows up later in like 1 million. Yeah, he shows up in like 10 million downloads. Which will have an... NA will have an equivalent to this. Yeah, NA will have an equivalent to this. You'll also get like a free SSR. Sorry, free SR. Free SSR. Pff, no, free SR. But, let's check another one. Just one more real quick. Merlin. 3 nights from Avenger. Oh, okay. So there is a paid gacha where he does appear, but not anything from this entire year. So they might do a Thanksgiving thing with him and be nice, but then again, he's part of the 10 million downloads banner, so who knows? Which means he's part of a million downloads banner. Anyway, I know you could. That's true. I could just Control F, but I also like skimming through because it shows you guys how many banners are coming. Anyway, so I guess we'll move on then. It doesn't sound like anyone has any questions about Merlin himself at this point, so we'll move on. Here's the thing, I will go up to give you guys a limit, because I don't want to be too much longer, because we're past the Meme Master now. That's my 2 cents on the Meme Master. He can go, and if you want to know who he can go well with, pretty much anyone who's Buster, specifically. He can go well with pretty much anyone, but specifically Buster you get the most out of, by far. There's a lot of Buster servants who could use this man. So, like Gorgon, we mentioned her. Ket's, perfect. Even Enkidu. And he's a weirdo. He's a weird Clayboy. Ishtar, I could go up the list. Amaku Sashiro. I'm serious, he goes well with all of them. Cleo. Because his star weight is low. His star weight is lower than like, all these people. So he's not really absorbing a lot of stars, statistically speaking. You can even put him with Tamamo and just get his cooldown lower, and especially if it's an Arts Buster person. Oh yeah. Like Emiya? Oh my god, Emiya would love that. Whatever. Anyway, Ku Alter, you basically make Ku Alter invincible. That's something to consider. Yeah, Ku Alter basically becomes invincible. He's an indestructible killing machine with Merlin. So consider. Anyway. Alright, so I'll just briefly go over this GSSR. Pretty much anyone you'd want except Merlin is in this. I don't think Ishtar's in here. Nope, Ishtar's not in here. Not in the GSSR. I'm hoping they put her on a rolling rate up with Musashi, because here you can see, this is what it was going to be. It was going to be Musashi with, and here's what we got, Gilgamesh, Saber Shiki, Iskandar, Ilya, and Kintoki's been replaced by his mom, Skahak, and no Ishtar. So they're probably, I'm hoping, to make it fair to the people who are expecting the second rate up, they put her on a rolling rate up with Musashi. I think that would be fair. I mean, you could do it. I mean, it's not like any other different rolling rate up thing, you know? Not to mention, she'll be out then, you know, because she'll have this one. I've heard people argue it, like, why? Because it's like, because, you know, it'd be fair. Because, let me tell you, there was a huge backlash with the GSSR when they didn't include people who were included in JP, because they moved the date up. What do you think people are gonna say when Rin Tosaka doesn't fucking show up when she's supposed to? Yeah. Not gonna be very pleased, I can imagine. And that's a rolling rate up, or I imagine it would be. Or it was in this case anyway, but yeah, it'd be a rolling rate up, so that's not even a GSSR. You have an actual more chances to get her sooner, so I don't know. Yeah, I know, but I gotta say, the one who got the shaft the most here was Kintoki. Just, boop, he's gone. Your mom is better. Fuck you. Ay. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about that, except that, yes, it will be separated by class this time, so, woo! That's awesome. I don't even play NA that much right now, but I'm even happy about that for you guys, that you finally get to experience the class-specific GSSR. So. Oh, but, okay, so then we come to, I'm not, actually, she's a little bit lower than I thought, so maybe I won't even talk about her. I don't know. I think I might end on her, because then we're getting into Shinjuku, and I don't want to talk about story stuff. That's not what today is for. So I think we'll stop. Maybe at MHX Alter. Okay, so. Musashi, is she good? Well, let's answer that question. Can I talk about Sherlock? He's way too late. I'm not going to talk about him today. He happens on the anniversary. He's way too late. So I'm not gonna focus on him today. So this is gonna be New Year's. This is gonna be on 1/1/2019. This skill, you see this one? I don't even have to show you what her MP gain is. I don't. Even though with that percentage, it's actually pretty good with that number of hits. In fact, that's actually really good. But I don't even have to show you that. This skill, it might as well read instant 100% NP gauge. I'm dead serious. Because this doubles her hit count with this percentage, which is a very solid percentage for something that gives 3 hits on base. You're literally doubling the hits to 6 with that percentage. And you usually are going to probably put it at the end, considering she has an all-buster deck. Ooh. And trust me, that's from experience. She gets like at least like 75% gauge on this at just base without any other add-ons. It's a real, yeah, it's actually also done super well. I like this a lot because it also works for her quick card and her buster cards and her extra attack too. So she's really good at gaining critical stars on it too, potentially. That's not what you're going to use it for. You're going to use it for this arts card, but, I mean, sometimes you'll put a quick card in there. Sometimes you'll do a Brave Chain with her and get more critical stars that way, definitely. Yeah. And then she has Ignore Invincible with Buster card effectiveness. It's a mana burst. Pretty solid mana burst. I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. And then there's Emptiness, which applies Invincible 1 turn. So, already solid. Increases her critical star drop rate. You know, decent number, I guess. And then removes all debuffs from her automatically. So, very good at apply Invincible. It's a refresh, restart for her where she gets to just do whatever she wants afterward because she'll be living. Most likely, unless someone has apply Invincible to themselves, but... Or, sorry, apply Ignore Invincible to themselves, but... Anyway, her magic resistance is Saber. You know, typical Saber stuff. And then here's the big one. Her Noble Phantasm is single target, and it increases her MP strength with Overcharge before she hits up to 60%. And then after she strikes, she removes all buffs. After she strikes. That's the key here. So, the good thing is she's not like Media, where she'll strike, like an Evade or an Invincible, or something like that, and then wipe them clean, so making her Rule Breaker useless or something like that. Instead, it's like she has this, which you're probably going to use right before you use this. So she's going to pierce through basically anything, unless they have really high, just actual, like, defense stacking. That's the only time you're going to be in trouble. But that's rare. When it's high enough to actually do a lot against your damage. Yes, only the first one. But sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need, and on top of that, sometimes it's a really good kickstart. Like in Tamamo's case. Or like in Merlin's case. Or really anyone's case. Sometimes oftentimes it's all you need to get that kickstart. Because remember, after that, you're going to be stacking. You want to start the stack. So... Anyway, she's really straightforward. And you would say, oh, look at this deck. Isn't it bad? And it's like, no. It's actually really solid because of this. And so she's also putting out a lot of damage. She's not the highest attack Saber in the game, I don't think. I don't think she is. Actually, hold on. Saber... Sometimes you can actually... I think it's because I have it minimized like this. Yes, okay. Max attack... Saber, max attack. Okay, she is not. I was right. She is not the highest attack, but she does have a full buster deck, so... Actually, funny enough, the highest is Sigurd, followed by Arthur Prototype, who I will not be talking about today, sorry guys. Thank you for the $5 donation, Draconic. Thanksgiving is happening, and that means saying lottery gift box to be decided. What exactly does that mean? Good question. They might be... Does that mean they might do the GSSR? That would be dumb. That'd be very dumb, if that's what that means. Just because, I mean, if they actually did go through with that... Ooh, no. They should not do that. Sorry, I'm getting really hungry, guys, so I'm really running out of steam. Like I said before, like 30 minutes ago, but now I mean it. Luckily, we're almost at the end here. So... She's a really solid Saber. I always rely on her, honestly, in JP, I always rely on her as a single target Saber. She is super duper. I mean it. Who does she go well with? I mean, really, anyone who can help her NP gauge so she can fire off her stuff more often. Or anyone who's Buster support. So, because you want her to hit hard, too. If it's a free 4-star, that might be nice, actually. Anyway, FG Arcade, that'd be nice. Yeah, she's a beast. Do not underestimate the damage she can put out. I mean, I think King Hassan can... She might... sorry, not she. King Hassan, we did talk about him earlier, so I won't go over him again. But, hold on, guys. Let me just make sure the screen is looking okay. I won't go over him again, but basically he, I think, can put out more damage, just from the sheer fact that he is the second strongest assassin in the game. He does have a multiplier running against him, though, that Sabers do not. Sabers have a 1.1 times modifier just because they're a knight, whereas assassins have a 0.9 because they're a cavalry working against them. But he has more attack buffs, so I'll just show you quick. Yeah, he has a Buster Effectiveness boost, which goes up to 50, so he has a Mana Burst. And then he also can increase his own attack by an extra 20%. And then he has this high chance to inflict instant death and stuff like that. So he works out. I'd say, I think the damage output for him might be a little bit stronger, but it could balance out based on the NPs. I want to say based on the NPs, it might work out. In fact, they might even be completely even, just to be completely fair. But, who is more useful? I think for challenge quests, because that's really where you're going to use these two. I think for challenge quests, you will see better results from King Hassan. Because there may be enemies who have Pierce Invul. That's what it's called. Yeah, Pierce Invul. Or Apply Ignore Invincibility or something like that. If they have anything like that, he has the biggest guts in the game. Up to 5,000 HP recovered. That's great. Like, that's just... That's fantastic. And it lasts for 5 turns, so you can just wait on it. You can sit on that and be like, alright, I know he's near death. Let me just put this on him and not be scared, because he's gonna come back in a big way. Whereas Musashi, you'd have to time it. If you were really worried about her HP, you have to time that invul to go where you want it to be. Like, okay, this is the best turn to do it, or something like that. Or you have to balance it out, like, do I wait for the NP, or do I risk her health? It depends. It's just when they're both cornered, I would say I would rely on King Hassan more between him and Musashi. So let's see. I mean, it's hard to disagree with what you just said, your husbando. It's hard to disagree with, honestly. I'll go over it in the top servants to save for in 2019 video, which will be coming soon, don't worry. I just want to make sure I have all of my head clear on it and make sure I'm like, alright, I know exactly what I want to do. But that's how I'd put it for now. So, Hokusai will not be in the list for 2019 because she technically comes out in 2020. Anyway, for NA. Alright, let's end this on a favorite. Oh, first, do you have any questions? Because we're going to end it on Mysterious Heroine X Altar. Do you have any questions about Musashi? Or King Hassan? Or comparing them? How do you think Caskill matches up to other supports? I'd say he's a really good supportive support. As in, like, he supports already really good supports. Like, if you have Waver or Tamamo on the field, put him with them so they can also further buff an arts person. That's how I think of him. I will probably mention returning servants. I'll be like, yo, be on the lookout for these people, because they are going to come back. CE recommendations for Musashi? Hey, remember that CE you just got for the Halloween 2 event? The Super Ghouls and Pumpkins? If you max limit broke it, good for you! That is a really good choice for Musashi, because she heavily, obviously, relies on her NP and then Buster Brave chaining with it. So that CE in particular gives Buster performance increase and NP strength performance increase. A lot. I would recommend that. That is the big one I would recommend. You can recommend other stuff, like something that gives her NP, like an NP steroid of some kind, or like, you know, you could always put like demonic bodhisattva on her or something like that, or just anything that gives NP gauge. I wouldn't put kaleidoscope on her. I'd want it to be something that actually gives her a benefit, because her NP gain is not that bad, guys. It's actually not, because of her first skill. Anything that gives her NP gauge and Buster performance. Critical strength is not really a concern, because she's already going to hit hard by having so many Buster cards. I mean, if you want to do it, fine. Like, you can put Victor of the Moon on her, for example, but she has nothing really that supports her critical strength or critical gather rate. So I'd say just focus purely on the Buster strength and the NP with Musashi. King Hassan is similar in that regard, but he's a little bit different. He's kind of like, I think you wanna increase his, and actually, yeah, they could be similar, pretty much whatever you put on, except I wouldn't put demonic bodhisattva on him though, because his overcharge effect is not worth it. I would just focus more on Buster for him. Like I said, if you want to focus on crits, that's fine, because she will be on a team with other people. Ah, Sir Galahad, you've come back with your €2. Thank you. Good to have you back. Anyway, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to our final entrant here, because a lot of people have been very concerned considering how close she is to King Hassan's arrival. Because look at this. In JP, he ends on January 25th. Mysterious Heroine X starts on February 8th. That's like 2 weeks apart. So, let's end on a cutesy. On a favorite. Number one, I'm just going to tell you right off the way. Right out of the way. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, very hungry. Much like her. She literally, by the way, fun fact, she literally runs on sugar. That's why she's a berserker. I'm not even kidding. If you look up her lines, look them up right now. If you look them up right now, you'll see her lines. She is a berserker because she literally runs on candy and sweets. She is powered by sugar. Literally, because she mentions her, she has like a reactor of some kind. I don't know if it's actually this, like her passive skill. It's some kind of reactor she has in her. I think it is the Alter Reactor that actually is powered by sugar and sweets. Yeah. And she's also a Sith Lord. It's seriously. She actually shoots lightning as one of her attacks in the game. In fact, several of her attacks. She also makes blum 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 sounds with her lightsaber. She has a Darth Maul double-bladed that she can also split in two. Yeah. So this is the final form. Yes, she is more gluttonous. Imagine Saber Alter, but all she thinks about is food. That is literally the only thing that comes up in her mind. Like, forget all of the deep hero stuff. Like, she mentions it a couple times about herself and, like, her heritage, like, her lineage that she's supposed to take up as a king or whatever. But most of her lines, she's like, please, master, just feed me. So. But I will also warn you, she's quick-based. And she doesn't really become good until Scotty. However, she's very fun to use after she gets her rank up. because that intuition sucks. But this is fun because she has a whole slew of things here that work really well together with one particular really cheap to obtain servant. You might not guess it right away. She is perfect with Hans. I'm not even kidding. Let me continue. Okay. So, she starts off with a skill that increases her HP recovery amount for 3 turns right before she restores her HP. Up to 2,000. You're like, okay, whatever, you know. HP restoration is good on Berserkers. But that means that 2,000, probably not going to stay 2,000. Because this happens first. I'm pretty sure it happens first. So, who also I was gonna say also. Who also heals as part of his whole shtick? It's Hans. He heals every single turn. Every single turn, not all at once, like Tamamo, every single turn. And up to 50%, that's a lot more HP that she's getting back onto herself for 3 turns, because his NP is also 3 turns. Yes, also Black Anko is literally the type of candy she prefers. It's adorable. Infinite Black Anko. It's adorable. I love her so much. Anyway, but then let's talk about the rank up, because that's more important, because it's actually not that far off. You actually get her rank up, supposedly, according to JP, you will, of only a few months off from her release. She gets it in like July, or June or July. So this is more relevant rather than intuition. Forget that. You only have to deal with this for like a few months. She increases her quick effectiveness. I wouldn't say quick star. I'm sorry. I'm really hungry. She's just making me even hungrier. I want candy now. She increases her quick card effectiveness for 3 turns, 30%. That's pretty solid. And also gains critical stars. Good. Up to 20. Good. That's a lot. And she's gonna need it, because then she has Invisible Hand of the King. I love that name. It's so fucking cool. It's badass. When she targets one of her allies and says, decrease your critical star gather rate by like half, basically. 100%. And it's static. It's forever. This means pick Hans! Ha 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 ha! Hans, you don't need to attack. Boop! Stop absorbing my critical stars, you little Shota bitch. And then, on top of that, increases everyone's attack. Up to 20%. So it's also a decent charisma for 3 turns. And it's got a good cooldown. All of them actually have really good cooldown. 5 turns at max. So, Hans also has a thing where he increases the critical strength of everyone. I mean, she also gets her own stars. He has a 3-turn innocent monster skill. And on top of that, his NP gives critical star drop rate increase. Which, by the way, she's quick-based with 2 quick cards. With a quick Noble Phantasm that's... it's single target, okay. But it has 9 hits. 3 hits on each of her quick cards. That's not bad. Her NP gain is actually not that bad either. I gotta be honest. It's actually kind of good. Like, really, I'm not lying to you. Like, I've used her plenty of times and I was surprised by it. I was like, her NP gain is actually pretty good. Even with quick cards, even being a Berserker, like, whew. And on top of that, she can actually make use of the special attack against Saber class servants way more than MHX can, because she's a Berserker. She does 1.5 times damage on everything. So, what's 1 turn? Oh, no. Did you think I meant, like, Innocent Monster or something like that with this? No. I just meant, like, say you have a hand, and considering Hans has a higher star weight, if he's even on the board with Mysterious Heroine X Alter, he's gonna absorb all the critical stars. Say you have, like 30. He's gonna go right to 100% versus her. No, what do you mean? I've actually no idea what you referred to. Did I say something wrong? I'm trying to remember what I even said was wrong about, like, the whole... what was referring to one turn. Is it actually? I thought Artoria, like base Artoria, had a 20%. When did I say indefinite? I never said indefinite. Oh, no. Because if their star weight went to 0, they wouldn't, like, no. I never said it was permanent. I just said stick it on Hans. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. I have no idea. I can't even go back. Well, whatever. Point is, like, it's whatever. Like, I actually do not even remember saying that. But whatever. Because I remember everything else I said. No, I said oh! No, I remember. I even used my mouse. I said, this is static. It's static, meaning no matter how you level it, it's 100%. No! Wow, guys. No, yeah, that's on you. I remember even moving my mouse. This is static. Meaning, no matter how it's leveled, it can start at level 1, and it will give 100%. That is exactly what I meant. Yes. You guys confused me. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I never said that this was indefinite. And it's like, oh, no. When I say static, I usually always mean this. Like, it doesn't change. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. I know that for a fact, because I remember even moving my mouse over it. And I'm just like, that's what I meant. So I'm like, that's because that was my point. It was saying, even if you don't bother leveling this skill, this 100% is static. Which means, yeah, Confusion EX. Which means that it will never, it starts out that way, so it stays good. That's what I mean. It doesn't level with, it doesn't, like, start at 50 or something like that. It, like, no, it stays at 100%. That's what I meant. So, I'm not even, yeah, I'm not even, like, making up for an error. I know for a fact that's what I meant, because I said that with Merlin, too, where I said that the 20% NP gauge is static. Because, it doesn't go up or down with leveling. It stays 20% at level 1 and stays 20% at level 10, so. Oh, this is Mysterious Heroine X Alter. This is the one I'm ending on anyway, but, yeah, so, okay, so, basically, and we'll see. She might be towards the end of the list for the top servants to save for, because you don't get, like, a second chance at her for a long time. I don't think you even get one for the... Hold on. I'm actually going to use Control F this time because I'm going to save myself some trouble. Mysterious Heroine X Alt... Oh, that's right. I have to use parentheses. Alter? No, just... Okay, whatever. Oh, this is NA. My bad. Mysterious Heroine X... She does have this one. This is the one I pointed out. That's her main summon. And then... Ooh, okay. That's neat. She does come back in the GSSR later. In the same year. In the anniversary. Nice. That's pretty cool, actually. Okay. So you will get plenty of chances at her. I mean, granted, I don't like lucky bags for that reason. I don't like saying, oh yeah, she comes back in the GSSR, and so you can have... It's like, technically you have another chance, but... Yeah, your only real next chance is the rerun, so... So you basically have to get her this Valentine's, or you have to wait till the next Valentine's, unless Aniplex of America is generous, which apparently can happen, considering they swap things out. And we're like, oh, people like Raikou more? Well, let's put in Raikou instead of Kintoki. So... Anyway, I like her. She's not great until Scotty, unfortunately. But I think she's super fun. I think she's worth a look. And I think that's a good note to end on. I think she's definitely worth time experimenting with. I mean, if I hadn't experimented with her, I wouldn't know that she's actually a really good match with Hans. And I know some people are going to be like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, hey, it's never bullshit if it's Hans. Because he's a 2-star, and I will advertise him as much as it takes, because he's good. you should level your Hans. Like, so, heck, if you don't get Merlin, he's basically welfare Merlin, because, I mean, of course he's not going to be as good as Merlin, but he's a 2-star. Considering everything he does, and how universal he is, it's kind of more like Waver, really. So... And yes, the Sith look is totally worth it. Anyway, so thank you guys for joining me en masse to this experimental stream. I'm glad you guys seem to enjoy it, at least. It went an hour over what I kind of wanted it to be, but it was fine. It was fun. I got my points across. And that doesn't mean I won't be making any videos for these people, because I know some people are not going to sit through 2 hours of this. I understand. I probably will put time codes or something like that, maybe. But I know still people won't, like, yeah, I'm just trying to make it easier for you guys, because I know this is going to be a hot topic right now, like, ooh, you know, what should I save for, because all this shit is being thrown at me, and I understand completely. That's why I wanted to get this out right now, so I could at least get some thoughts across to you guys, about who I think is good, who I think is worth it, you know. Okay, so actually, this is a good time. In summary, because I think this is going to be the final thing people are going to want to know. Out of the banners and characters we talked about. Thank you, your husband. Thank you for the €5. I'm glad you enjoyed it, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to eat after I say this. This is my final piece. Who is the most worth it, and I guess in what order? Okay, so we'll start from the least worth it out of the ones we talked about, which would be Babylonia, because again, I didn't talk about Ishtar much because I literally have a video coming out about her, so just wait for that. But Babylonia onward, up to MHX Altar. I would say, and this is considering the entire banner too, okay, guys? Because you're gonna, obviously, to roll on a character, you're gonna also have to roll with the other characters and the Cs that come with them. I would say from least to most, thank you, Rini-chan. I would say MHX is the most based in favoritism. She's also the most interesting one, and she does get a lot better. But you also have time for her. So I will say she is the least, just based on time factors and favoritism, based on how much you like her, basically. Based on what she's equipped with, and how dare you have come to grow for her. So, you know, how much you're like, oh, she's so cute, I need her. You know, shit like that. She is, I think, arguably better than regular MHX, just because she's a bit more versatile, being a berserker, and she can go well with really good welfare people, like Hans and stuff like that. Like, actually tight. She's tight with them. You know, stuff like that. I'm like, I like it. I like stuff like that. But that's me. You know. Next, I would say... This is rough. This is where it actually gets rough. If you have a good single-target saber, I'm gonna say Musashi next in terms of the least to most. Because she's just a really good beat stick. Like, she's a very, very good beat stick. But she is just a beat stick. So I gotta be honest with myself and say I would put at, like, number 5 banner out of 6. From least to greatest, I'd say Musashi is number 5, in my opinion. That doesn't make her bad at all, because she has to compete with Mr. Hassan here. Who... Okay, going up next. I would say... I'm gonna go between one of the Babylonian ones. Because even though I'm not actually gonna put Jaguar Man as, like, a demerit against this one, because she's the 3-star. She's not even a spook. She's what? You're gonna get plenty of 3 stars if you're rolling this one. Oh yeah, she's super cute beat stick, but I would say probably this, maybe this one next. It's I think a tie between these two, because the worst case scenario is that they're story locked, you know, And, you know, you could say, well, but then we don't get... What about the raid ups and stuff like that, you know? But here's the thing. NA has done a lot of story banner reruns. They could easily do the same for Babylonia. I'm just putting that out there because who knows with NA at some points. Some points they're like, we need time to fill because we don't want to do this banner or that. Or whatever. Put some story reruns in there. Babylonia could easily be one of them. And they'll probably put Quartz and Gorgon on it. So, just considering. And, like I said, the CE helps boost this one up. Caskill is very good. He's not a main supporter, but he's really good at supporting arts teams. He is worth consideration. Enkidu is very strange, though. It depends how much you like Playboy. Honestly, If I had a gun to my head, a loaded gun to my head, I'd say Babylonia 2 is better. Just because the servants here are a bit more worth your time overall, and Caskill and Enkidu are both permanent, and you can get Demonic Bodhisattva. Okay, so I'm going back on my word saying they're tied. I'm like, okay, I had to think it through a bit. I would say Babylonia 2 is a little bit more worth your time above this one, just because everything here is permanent. Whereas these are story locked, and Quartz is amazing, and Gorgon is a 4-star Avenger. And very, very physically strong. I know, I'm sorry, Gorgon, there, I put you ahead. Are you happy? Are you happy now? I put you above. I put you above. Then after that, I would say King Hassan. And now some people might think, whoa, you said it was kind of situational or whatever between him and Musashi. Musashi gets Shimosa. She comes back. And that's actually sooner-ish, I think, than King Hassan, I want to say? King Hassan is very spread out. I remember that. Yeah, he's very spread out. It's not until the 11 million downloads campaign, or our equivalent, basically. Which will be very late in the year. So basically a year apart. Much like Merlin. Oh, and the Shimosa banners are hardcore awesome, so you probably should be rolling on those if you don't have any of those servants on it. But yeah, I would put Merlin at top. Just because he's the same thing. He's a year apart from his next raid up, basically. And then after that, who knows? And I explained why Merlin is... I should kind of go without saying at this point, but figured it was worth explaining anyway, so... That about wraps it up. Do we have any questions before I close? Other than teasing Rini-chan about her being soon, and I'm glad you are pleased, Gorgon. Not about Rini-chan being soon, I mean, I'm just glad you're pleased about my placement. But yeah, get your wallets ready. Definitely. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Okay, fine. Hug. That was for you, Rini. What am I gonna eat? I'm gonna eat my entire fridge. That's how hungry I am. This stuff makes me so excited, I get super duper hungry. So... Oh, where am I gonna be, like, Anime NYC tomorrow? I have no idea where I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna be with my dad, though. Don't worry, it's not like he's chaperoning me or something like that. It's like, no, we just have the same interests. I'm pretty lucky to have a dad like that, so... Yeah. So, I guess we'll end the chat with, and the entire stream, in fact. Please press F for my fridge, because tonight... It's feasting time. I must release the beast! I'll wait till we, load ourselves up with Fs. Yes, 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 yes! Food! F for food!